Well, good evening. I hope you had a great day on this Thursday. It's almost the weekend, and we've got more weather changes ahead as our next cold front is sitting just to our north. That front is going to move through by morning, and that'll give us windy and cooler weather tomorrow, but it is dry. And then as we head into tomorrow night, the temperature really drops. It's going to get cold, dropping into those 30s to low 40s. We could even see some freezing temperatures in our far northern counties by Saturday early morning, so we're going to watch that. Plus a warming trend. Winds will shift back around and temperatures will start to climb again starting Sunday and through the middle of next week before our next front arrives. It's also going to get windy again by Monday and Tuesday. All right, so here's our front to the north tonight. That colder air coming in behind it, but dry. The coldest air, though, won't be here until tomorrow morning. So lows tonight will stay in the lower 40s from Beeville and George West to the upper 40s around Corpus Christi to near 50 at the coast. And the wind is going to stay light. At 10 o'clock tonight, you can see we're looking at our light winds this evening, and those are going to pick up, though, after midnight as the front moves through between 3 and 6 in the morning. See the wind shift to our north there, and watch those wind speeds. They're already by 6 in the morning blowing pretty good, 20 to 25 miles an hour winds early in the day tomorrow. I think we could have sustained winds as high as 28 and the gusts up to 35. So secure those loose outdoor objects. It's going to be windy tomorrow, and that north wind keeping it dry around here, and the winds gradually coming down tomorrow night. So tomorrow you may want that jacket as you head out the door. That wind's going to be a bit cool, but we will have sunshine, a mostly sunny sky tomorrow, but temperatures only reaching into the lower to mid 60s for highs. It'll be a cooler day in the coastal bend with temperatures below average, but once again it is dry and that wind very gusty tomorrow. Now the northwest wind is going to cause the humidity to drop, and you can see here the relative humidity from the morning to the afternoon really comes down. Now that is going to drop into those about 20 to 30% in our inland areas, and that gives us an elevated fire danger tomorrow because we're going to have the wind, we have the low humidity and dry vegetation. Not a good day to do any outdoor burning. Avoid outdoor burning tomorrow and be careful with anything that can cause a spark. If a fire gets going, it'll be spreading very quickly. So inland areas, we really got to watch for that tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, those temperatures drop off. We see that colder air and the winds dying down in our clear skies. So we're looking at Friday night and Saturday morning. There's that freeze line. Beeville and George West, 30 to 32 degrees. I do think Corpus Christi will stay above freezing, but it's going to get chilly out there. 34 for Kingsville Friday night and near 40 on the islands. Rockport, 39. So yeah, we're going to need those coats if you're heading outdoors Friday night and into early Saturday. So here's what it's looking like. We have our first cold front just to our north tonight. That passes through by morning. It's dry with that front and much cooler air comes in. As high pressure dominates, though, it's going to keep our skies sunny as we head into Friday and into Saturday, and that cool air lingers with that north wind on Saturday. Then we see the wind starting to shift back around to the southeast. That means more cloud cover. We'll start to see a few more clouds Sunday. Temperatures start to warm up. The humidity starts to climb, and we'll continue with windy weather by Monday and Tuesday out ahead of our next area of low pressure. This is going to swing into the area early Tuesday morning. I don't think we're going to have much rain with it. I put just an isolated shower chance in for Monday night, but it still looks pretty dry, and once that goes through, it's windy. And you can see the ups and downs here in temperatures after warming up through Wednesday. There's our next cold front next Thursday, cooling us late next week. Here's your 7-day forecast then. Keep the jackets handy the next 2 days. It's going to be cool, windy tomorrow, cold nights tomorrow and Saturday night, then warming trends starting Sunday.
Hurricane season, because so far so good, and there's not too much time left.
That's right. In fact, we know the peak of the season, Andy, was this past Saturday on the 10th of September is the normal peak of the hurricane season, and we really haven't had very many storms out there. It's been a quiet season so far. So we're lacking some of the ingredients needed to form these tropical systems. What are those? Well, first of all, the water temperature needs to be warm. In fact, we've got that. 80 degrees or higher, yeah, and the water temperature temperatures in the Gulf and in the Atlantic and areas are above average. So we've got the warm water to give the storms energy. Also, we have had the converging winds. We need convergence in order to get the air to rise in order to form these storms. And yes, we've seen that. Tropical waves coming off of Africa, and we've seen many waves developing out there, but they just haven't been able to get going. So what are the other two ingredients? Tropical moisture and abundant moisture indeed. This is one we've been missing. We have had a lot of that Saharan dust choking out these systems. They haven't had enough moisture to keep going. And then the other ingredient is we want lighter winds aloft coming roughly from the same direction. This ingredient has been missing. The winds have been too strong, and they're shearing off the tops of the clouds of these storm systems, and that doesn't allow that circulation to get going in order for them to develop. So what have we been left with? A very quiet season. Now, we see 14 named storms for the entire season. So far, we've only seen 5. Yeah, we usually see 7 hurricanes. So far, we've only seen 2, and we're well below the forecasts that have been put out earlier this year. But the season's not done yet. We know that we can still have plenty of activity in September and October, so we still got to keep an eye on the tropics, although it's looking less likely that we'll see some of the numbers that were.
That's right, Andy. You know, it's that time of year we see these cold fronts coming through more often, and when they do, they can give us some pretty changeable weather. The thing you're going to notice tomorrow is the wind. The wind is going to pick up, and if we look at the wind speeds, the sustained wind speeds, you can see by about noon they're already 20 to 25 miles an hour. Early afternoon, that wind's really going to be blowing, and it's going to be gusty too. In fact, this red line indicates the forecast wind gusts, and you can see those gusts up to near 35 miles an hour by about 2 to 3 in the afternoon. So yeah, it's going to be a windy day tomorrow, and the reason for that is because of our lower pressure, this storm system developing in the panhandle, drawing in that warm, moist air from the Gulf and causing that air to speed up as it gets into that lower pressure. So with that said, we have the warm, moist air rushing in ahead of this system. Here's our front. This boundary is going to move south, and with it's going to cause storms to develop. And you can see the severe storm risk for tomorrow. There's an enhanced risk just north of Austin through Waco and Dallas. And then as you go south, a slight to marginal risk. And we're included in that. As I zoom in here, you can see that the coastal bend may see some isolated severe storms tomorrow, but you'll notice the risk gets higher as you go to the north. So what about the timing of all this, and how much will the temperatures change behind this cold front? I'll let you know all about.
We're talking about the dogs.
Absolutely, and it has been sweltering here, Andy, and I've heard people use this term. We are in the dog days of summer. Indeed, we are. You may think that because the word dog is in the title that it does have something to do with these guys. Perhaps it has something to do with Rocky or Ella or Georgie or even Jax. But nope, the name has nothing to do with our furry friends. What it does have to do with is the time of year and something in the night sky. First of all, what are the dog days? Well, first of all, it is that period from July 3rd through August 11th, and it refers to the typically hottest time of the summer when we have this oppressive air with us. Certainly we're feeling that. Also, it does match up with the rising of the dog star Sirius. Okay, you're saying, what's the dog star Sirius? Well, it is in the constellation of Canis Major in the night sky. Now, you can't see it now because it's a winter feature. You see it in the winter sky. During the summer, it's out during the day and we can't see it. But in the Canis Major constellation, there's the brightest star, and in the winter you'll see it, Sirius. Now, Sirius is called the dog star because it's in this constellation that does resemble what they call a dog. So what does that have to do with the dog days of summer? Well, first of all, that Sirius rises and sets with the sun this time of year. So as the sun is rising, the bright star Sirius is rising as well. Plus, it's extra bright because it's in conjunction with the sun around July 23rd. So it's very bright. So what happened was, in ancient times, the stargazers believed because the sun and the star were coming up at the same time, that is what caused the heat during this time of year, and it was therefore